Hi! I made this video explaining how to use animated icons on your Home Assistant dashboard some time ago. 2 years later, things have changed and I will show you how to do this in the new Sections dashboard in Home Assistant. From now on, your dashboard will look amazing with these animated icons and cards. Let's dive in! The new section dashboards in Home Assistant are great, but they can sometimes feel a bit static. Fortunately, you can change that yourself, and with the help of this tutorial you don't need to be very technical to do so. I've created several ready-to-use animations in this video that you can quickly implement. By the way, I got this idea from Rice, who has shared many more ideas on the Home Assistant forums. The link to that page is in the description of this video. I will show you how to create these animations, but first we need to install a HACS integration. You can change the looks of cards on your dashboard by using CSS. To use CSS in cards you need a HACS integration called CardMod. If you do not have HACS installed yet, I created this easy to follow video on how to do that. Check it out. Let's first install the CardMod integration. To install CardMod we are going to HACS. Search for CardMod. Click on CardMod, click Download, click Download again, click Reload. Clear your browser cache to be sure. Now that CardMod is installed, we can change our dashboard to include animated cards. I prepared some animated cards and will explain how I created them. Although it's not necessary, I also use mushroom cards, so if you want to use them, please install the mushroom cards using HACS. Let's start with explaining the animated badges. As you can see, I created 5 badges on this page. A home badge that bounces, a power badge that pulsates, a fan badge that spins, a mailbox badge that jumps around, and a motion detector badge that flashes the motion sign. If I put the dashboard in edit mode by clicking the pencil icon, I can show you how I created each badge. For the animated home badge, I chose to add a mushroom template badge. Because I added some YAML code, I can no longer view this badge in the visual editor. However, as I will show you later, this does work for tile cards. At the bottom of the badges code I added the following lines. I start with CardMod to activate the CardMod integration we installed via HACS. Then comes the line style with a piping symbol. After that we add the CSS code to make the house icon bounce. We do this by modifying the behavior of HAState_icon, which is why we start with HAState_icon. In this case I named my animation Boing. It lasts 3 seconds and will repeat infinitely. The transform origin transforms from the x-axis at 50% and the y-axis at 90% of the image. Now we have to define the animation itself. For this I created the line add keyframes for the Boing animation that we named before. Within the Boing keyframes we defined what should happen at specific percentages of the animation time. In this case we use the scale 3D function that scales our image on the x, y and z axis. In this case it scales at 0, 7, 10, 12, 16, 19 and 25% of the timeline of your animation. You can play with the numbers yourself to change the actual animation. The second animation animates the power button. Again we define an HAState icon. I called it pulse this time and the time frame is 3 seconds. The animation occurs on the x-axis at 50% and the y-axis at 60%. As we did with the house icon, I defined keyframes for the animation called pulse. Now we use the scale function to scale at certain keyframes, this time at 0, 10, 17, 33 and 60%. I hope you already have an idea about how this mechanism works. The house and the power button animations do not differ much, but there's one difference that I haven't explained yet. I have added code after the animation line that checks whether the power button is turned on. This code ensures that the animation is only applied if the power button is on. For this tutorial I created toggle helpers and in this case I am checking whether the input boolean power office helper state is set to on. Of course you can also use the sensor state for this. Let's do this for the fan badge too. This time we will make it spin only when the fan is on. We start with HAState_icon again. This time I named the animation rotation. It runs infinitely and a full rotation takes 1 second. To ensure that the animation only shows when the fan is on, I've added an if statement that checks if the state of my animation_air conditioning is on. Using this, the animation will only trigger if the state is on. I defined the animation in the keyframe section, which I named rotation. At 0% the icon is rotated 0 degrees. At 100% it is rotated 360 degrees. The mailbox animation is similar to the other animations we've already created. I called the animation bounce and added an if statement again. This time it checks if an input boolean mail arrives is set to on. If you want to automate your letterbox, please watch this easy to follow video explaining how to set it up. It uses the older menu structure and the Home Assistant interface looks slightly different, but it is still valid. The keyframes for the bounce animation are set so that the icon jumps up and down on the y-axis and rotates a little bit simultaneously. Now we will introduce a new thing in our animation, the polygon clip part. Using a polygon clip part, you can mask some parts of the icon so that that part is only visible. There are various tools for that on the internet. The one that I use is the CSS clip part generator at cssportal.com. First I downloaded the MDI icon I'd like to use from materialdesignicons.com. Search for motion sensor. Click the download icon and download the image as an SVG image. Then go to the CSS clip part generator and upload that image via the upload image link. Then please select one of the example symbols and adapt it so that it only shows the part of the icon you want to show in the animation. Then copy the clip art line shown below the image to your clipboard. Now that we've determined the clip art for our icon, we can apply it to our animation. Let's set it up. We start with HA state icon again. I named the animation clip. It runs for 2 seconds and will loop infinitely. I also added an if statement so that the animation would only play when motion was detected. If we look at the keyframes for the clip animation, I added just one line that activates the clip part at 50% of the animation. So I've pasted the code we copied from the CSS clip part generator in this line. The result is that the whole icon is shown at 0% and the clip part gets applied at 50%, which means that the motion symbol is not visible then and it looks like the animation is flashing. Our badges are ready. I hope you now know how to create animated badges. Let's quickly look at the other cards I've created. They use the exact mechanisms I've shown in the badges, but they have some extra functionalities. Let's look at the air conditioning card. This is a tile card. I click on Show Code Editor to see how I animated it. This animation code is the same as the fan badge code, so there's no difference between codes for badges and cards. Instead of linear, you can also use ease in or ease out, but I prefer linear in this case. Again, I've added an if statement to check if the air conditioning is on or off. The next card is a light card that blinks when it's on. Again, we are using the clip art polygon animation for this card, just like we did for the badges motion sensor icon. Let's open the visual editor for the light card. I used a mushroom template card this time. I click Show Code Editor to view the YAML code. We start with HA state icon again. Within HA state icon, we name our animation illumination, which lasts 2 seconds and loops infinitely. And I've added an if statement again that checks if the light is on. Then I created the keyframes for the illumination animation. I created a clip art polygon using the CSS clip art generator just like I did for the motion sensor badge and pasted the code here. The clipping part kicks in at 80% of the time frame, resulting in a light flashing effect. It doesn't matter if you fill in 80% or another percentage because the clip art gets activated only once within 2 seconds. The sprinkler card makes use of the polygon clip art, but this time I use 2 polygon clip arts that alternate. I first created 2 clip art polygons using the CSS clip art generator site. You see, I started with HA state icon again. I called the animation spray, it lasts 2 seconds, eases in and loops infinitely. And I've added an if statement again to check whether the sprinkler is on. I've also created this lovely video explaining how to set up your fully automated garden watering system. Check it out if you need something like that too. I added 2 keyframes for the spray automation. The first clip part shows at 0, 50 and 100%, while the second one shows at 25 and 75%, so it looks like it is spraying. Next, I've created 3 scene buttons to switch between scenes on my dashboard. If you want to know how to switch scenes with a button in Home Assistant like Philips Hue, check out this awesome video that explains exactly how to set that up. The first button spins the icon when I click it. The second button pushes the icon in a bit, and the third button pushes the icon down when you press it. Let's see how you can set this up. For the first button, we click on Show Code Editor. When you click on a card, it becomes active, so this time we trigger the animation when the card is active. For the first button, we rotate the icon 360 degrees and set the rotation transition to 500 milliseconds. As you can see, rotating an icon when you click on a card differs from rotating an icon infinitely. For the second card, we are again triggering the active state of the card. To give this card the effect that it seems to be pushed in, we transform the scale to a value lower than 1 and set the transition to 0 seconds. I moved the card 1.5 pixels down for the third card and added a box shadow. The shadow is not visible in dark mode, but creates a nice extra effect in light mode. This is how you can create animated icons and cards in the new sections view of Home Assistant. The possibilities are endless. You can see more examples on this site. The link is in the description below. I'm curious about what animations you can create. Let me know in the comments and send me your dashboards on the Dump Your Dashboard channel on my Discord server. You'll also find the link to my Discord server in the description. If you don't want to type the code from the screen, you can sponsor me with a coffee and download the code I created for this video in return via the Ko-fi link in the description below. This will allow me to continue making these videos for you. I want to thank everyone who has supported me in making these videos and tutorials. I could never have done this without you. Thank you. You can support me through Patreon, Ko-fi or becoming a paid channel member. If you want to support me, look in the description of this video for the links. With that, you make it possible for me to continue to make these videos for you. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell. I will see you soon. Bye bye. We do this by modifying the behavior of We do this by modifying the behavior of HA state icon, which Now, come on. Now we will introduce a new thing in our Now we will introduce a new thing in our animation. First I downloaded the MDI icon. I'd like to use from